Sit down and heads up, because The View is live. Trump's bumpy transition? Who was dropped from his team? His huge conflict of interest problems, and how he has New York in chaos. And will the sexiest man alive be the next president of the United States? Why The Rock says he wants to run in 2020. Plus, the Tony-winning superstar behind the Broadway mega hit Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Here come Hump Day Hot Topics with Whoopi, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
Today, I'm on a little bit of a rant because it took me about 7 hours to get to work this morning because President-elect Donald Trump has his Midtown Manhattan apartment and it's on permanent lockdown.
Oh.
You need to take your behind to Washington. You wanted the job, go on and go to Washington. You know, people are trying to get places. People are trying to come up and down the street. I mean, you got to go, man. You got to go. You cannot stay in Trump Tower. You can't stay there. You got to go.
New York City is like the most populous city in the country, and it wasn't built to support this. The infrastructure is in D.C., and the other problem here is we have a lot of people voicing their word and protesting. New York was not a place that you could say safely voted for him. So to have not only his presence, which is, you know, there's too many people here already, bringing him and all of that comes with him now, and then also the people protesting, it's just a mess.
He needs to go with people like him. Moscow, that's a good spot.
It is hard enough to get around the city. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
There, you can't turn this way, you can't turn that way. Fifth Avenue.
Oh, it's already a pain.
I mean, that means Christmas.
Oh my God,
trying
Christmas
to
is
see
coming.
the tree.
Yes. The Rockefeller
trying
tree.
to get to the big.
Saks?
No, not a store. The church, St. Patrick's.
St. Patrick's, yeah.
I mean, there are real issues here. I mean, when I say to him, go to, because that's why they built the White House, so that the president would be in the center. Because what other president has lived in the town he was hanging out in? None. They all go to Washington. Go! I just want to go down. I want to go up and down Fifth Avenue. It's
bad
hard enough everywhere. My goodness.
He has to wait for the other guy to move out first before he can go, though.
Yeah, but the other thing is...
You know what? But doesn't he have places that say Trump all over the world?
No,
yeah, but you know what?
He has a place in Florida, actually. He has an estate in Florida that he could go to.
But all the buildings, all of his buildings are also blocked. When I get out of the subway every day, it's not where he stays.
No.
But that building has barricades all around it.
Yes.
So you can't get near any building.
Oh. And I'm not saying this for any other reason that it is really, you know, the gridlock is really horrible.
Yeah.
Getting here, I left my house at 6 a.m. and I didn't get here until after 9 o'clock. So for me, it's like, come on.
She lives around the corner.
Yeah. You know? And there are also reports that his transition team is in a little bit of chaos. Chris Christie, I guess, got the boot. Mike Pence took over, who dropped
on that.
What are you clapping
Chris
for?
Christie getting the boot.
And apparently he dropped many of the lobbyists who were part of the transition team. But the question is, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is still in play. Now, should he still be there if he's working in the, what is it, the blind trust of the, I don't know what it is.
Is he doing both?
Apparently, at the moment, he is.
Yeah, he's very close to Trump. 'Cause he has Trump's ear, so. That's why he's going to be a big player there.
So does that mean that he has to get out of the trust? And what about the kids who are going to get all of the
Ivanka's busy
What's
selling her jewelry on 60 Minutes. Have you seen that?
I missed it.
She was on 60 Minutes with her father. She had a beautiful bracelet.
Right.
And then it said, you know, you can purchase this. She thinks CBS is QVC, the girl.
Did you see how much the bracelet was, though?
She got a little confused. What?
Yeah,
No, but they both had 3 letters. You know,
That's
so
it.
CBS,
Yeah.
CBS. I don't know, CBS, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm interested as they're unfolding kind of the team that he's going to play with, because I think as someone that had other interests in this election, one of my big things is the LGBT and their rights, and it's a little concerning because at the time when all the interviews were happening between Donald Trump and Mike Pence, I was purely looking at surface how he presented himself, because that was the type of campaign we had.
Yeah.
That was enough to hope for, but I didn't really think deeper the fact that, like, Pence at one point believed in conversion therapy, which I'm fiercely against. So I'm hoping to see some assignments that can reaffirm me that my beliefs and things will be represented in his team.
well, maybe if what everybody seems to want us to believe is so, that people will be governing the nation and not through their religious beliefs or just their beliefs of what should be happening. I don't think any president, and that was the big fear they had. A long time ago, there was a president called John F. Kennedy. And people were totally freaked out because he was the first Catholic president, and people thought, oh my God, he's going to be on the phone with the Vatican every day, and you know, so people get very nervous about religion, and rightfully so, because everyone has the right to believe what they like. So perhaps, you know, perhaps Mike Pence will recognize that it is fine for him to feel the way he feels, but he can't govern that way.
But he's an extremist. He believes in conversion therapy. That's already been disputed.
Yeah, but what he believes,
major minds.
what he believes isn't important. What's important is whether or not he follows the Constitution. Because I can believe anything I want. I can have crazy beliefs or moderate beliefs or whatever it is. But much like the Supreme Court justices sit at the table, they can believe whatever they want. But it's their job to govern based on the Constitution and provide equal protection for everyone and people have equal rights. And let's hope so. I also wanted to say, though, one point about the chaos.
Yes, please.
There's a lot of chaos in terms of the transition. A lot of people who voted for him like that chaos because to them it means that he's shaking up the system. They wanted someone to go into Washington, turn the House upside down, shake it.
But it's the usual
This is his own group that's in chaos.
He doesn't know anybody else.
But it's also people are frustrated because there are people that were supposedly in line for the job, and he's saying, no, you're not going to get it.
You mean like
you're getting
Chris
the
Christie?
lobbyists,
Chris Christie and
Gonna be in
Jared
jail.
Kushner have a little personal issue.
A little beef, yeah.
Because Christie, when he was Attorney General, sent his father into prison for a year, and he don't like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That usually leaves a
It's
little
all
mark.
personal, isn't it funny? It's all personal.
but he
has nothing to do with the country. You diss my father, now I'm going to diss you.
Well, this has to do with the country because there's another potential conflict of interest that a lot of people are talking about right now. First thing is whether he will really be able to put the country's best interest ahead of his business interests, because he has a lot of business interests all over the world. So if people are concerned about folks, you know, getting things because they have access, this is going to be really interesting. Because people are going to have a lot of access to this president when he's traveling. And should we be concerned about that, or should we assume that as the person he is as president, he's not doing his own business interest? You know what I'm talking about?
I think that's a fair point, but I think it's a parallel point with politicians. People look at politicians that are entrenched in the system for years and say they have ties to lobbyists, they've made promises to this person or that person.
Yeah, but
so
their name isn't on every building.
That's true, but for me it's no different.
By the way, they've taken them off.
Not in Europe.
No, over here on Riverside Boulevard, he's blocked the entire front water line.
Right.
And now they're taking his name off of the buildings.
I think the reason this came up, baby, is because, you know, there was so much talk about access. When people have access to stuff. So this now, you know, I mean, part of me is grinning in a way, because I think what he's going to learn is it is very easy to point fingers, but when you're in the middle of something, you suddenly see, oh, this is how this actually works, so that could be really
It's going to be his version of this, because he had business interests before. Now he's going to have to make a decision. If he's going to be president, he can't make decisions based on things he was doing while he was a private individual. Now he works for us.
He's got the kids doing that, though. They're running the business.
He's going to have to show people. He's going to have to show people that that was separate, that was my life before, and now I work for you, and you are my priority.
Okay,
that's up to him as president to do. We'll see if he does it.
All right, we're watching.
Yeah. And you know what? There is one more big question, but I won't ask it until we come back, because we have more hot topics.
Coming up, Hillary's historic regret. What she said in her concession speech that's almost unheard of. No matter your political view,
I protest with the best of them. I believe in protest.
with so much on the line,
On both sides, people are upset.
this is the place
Elections have consequences, and if you don't like it, guess what? You get to change it in 4 years.
for your voice to be heard.
Baby, that's...
Still ahead, the Tony winner behind the revolutionary Broadway hit Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
You know, there are protests are growing over the Dakota Access Pipeline that could really taint residents' drinking water and passes through sacred burial grounds. Now, our president-elect apparently has invested in the company that is building the pipeline. So the question is, you know, with all of this going on, at some point he's going to have to say, you know, I'm taking myself out of this, because I don't really see how he can, I don't know, I don't see how he can keep his stuff in there.
Well, right now it's up to President Obama, right? They want President Obama to basically step in and halt this process. So we have to see what happens. I don't even know if this is going to be an issue that Trump will have to deal with ultimately.
Well, if Obama decides to leave it for him, it will.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I think Trump, whether he has investments in this or not, he's running as a conservative. I would be surprised if he weren't supporting the pipeline. I think he would fall in line with that issue regardless. But he's not a dictator. He's not going to be able to make all the rules.
Is he a conservative?
This guy... He ran as one. I mean, any conservative I know that was running on a platform of energy would probably support this pipeline. Now, would they go through it in a way where these people that are in the community have a voice where... But
you mean the Native Americans?
Yeah. Absolutely. But the thing is, the Army Corps of Engineers approved permits. This wasn't like this was an executive order that Obama or anyone opposed.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you have invested in something like that and you are the president, questions will be raised.
Absolutely.
You know, as to whether or not it is a conflict. There's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I think we'll have to answer for that.
And also, not for nothing, you guys that keep tweeting and freaking out, I know he can't go to Washington because the Obamas are still there. I mean, a couple of... If you were actually listening to the show, you would have heard that this was said, but you do know he has a hotel right there that he just opened, so he could go. Yeah. So technically, he could go to Washington.
And a house in Florida.
And a house in Florida and a house in Inverness. I mean, he's got places all over the place. So go, D. Go, D.
So wait, you know, to this point about the pipeline, you know, I'm beginning to really believe it's worse than I even thought it was going to be.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, the Steve Bannon thing has thrown me into a tizzy, and a lot of people are very scared about that, putting the alt-right guy in that position. But also, the person who is leading his EPA transition team is a guy named Myron Ebell, a notorious climate change denier. He's not a scientist. Has a philosophy degree from Colorado College. He worked for ExxonMobil. He believes that man has not created the problem in the world of climate change. And that, to me, is the issue for the millennials who did not vote. A lot of them.
Supposedly.
A lot of people did not vote.
You know what? We're never going to know what happened, ever. I've come to decide because, you know, if we believe what he said, which was it's a rigged game,
Yeah.
then there was some rigging going. So it's rigged everywhere. So I'm not going to believe, and I'm going to believe people voted who voted. But your point
But
is
to me,
great.
this makes me scared that he wants to reject the Paris Accords, where the whole world is coming together to save the planet, to save the endangered species, so that we don't have to walk around with gas masks. I'm petrified. This is the issue of the day.
No, building off your point, I do think safely you could say that the environment will probably take a hit, because a big part of what he campaigned on was giving jobs back to the coal industry,
Yes.
oil companies. People need those jobs, I understand. But the counterpoint to that is the environment that will kind of take the back seat to these jobs and a lot of creating energy.
And I appreciate that these people need to work, but that's short-term thinking in a way, because down the line, people won't be able to breathe. And there's no such thing as clean coal. I don't know where he gets this idea.
Well,
Do you ever touch coal? It's not clean.
Well, I'll tell you. You remember we were talking about, there's a show on Netflix called The Queen. I think it's called The Queen. Have you seen this?
The Queen or The Crown?
The Crown.
I've been watching it.
Okay, so you remember the 3 or 4 days? Okay, so coal, when you burn coal, lots of bad things happen. London is at one point blocked out for 4 days, because of all the coal that has been burned and all of this stuff.
And the sulfur is being emitted into the environment.
And it's rough. But here's my thing. I hope he feels that way when someone decides to run a fuel line through where his parents are buried. See, because when you're talking about, when the Native Americans say, listen, these are sacred burial grounds for us. First of all, we pushed the Native Americans into this arena, all the places that they are at. So really, if they're saying these are our sacred burial grounds, you shouldn't. We would be incensed if someone went to Riverdale Cemetery and said, oh, this looks like a good place to put a gas thing.
Yeah.
We'd be insensitive. You can't do that. So maybe we have to also just it's not politically correct. It's like, look, I don't want that over my family, my dead family.
If I were president, I would reroute it. That wouldn't be.
Because I'm elected behind.
I would. You're going to be my press secretary. I would reroute it. But this is President Obama's issue right now. I think they should hold him accountable. And if look, this is your president right today. So if this is a problem, and President Obama has allied himself with these environmental causes, he's a strong believer in them, he's an advocate for fighting climate change, he's an advocate for these local communities, supposedly, then let him step up and do something about it. Let him be a spokesman. He has to. He's president now. Donald Trump can't do anything about this today.
Here's the thing. All presidents don't leave. They don't all leave it like that. Sometimes presidents leave you with 2, 3 wars, So if it turns out that with all that he has to do, he's not able to get to this, because he's doing a lot of stuff, trying to get a lot of stuff done that will not be undone. So if he misses this, I'm hoping Donald will be thoughtful enough to realize that people's families are here, and there are other ways we can do it. That's all I'm saying.
And he will have to balance, I think, with what you're saying, because there is a whole segment of the population, coal miners, people who voted him in because they don't prioritize climate change as an issue. Let's be honest, that's not their #1 issue. They do believe in fracking. They do believe in clean coal. They do believe in those things. So he's going to have to balance out those people and what his own personal belief is on the environment and climate change, and try to satisfy everybody.
Nobody
and that's
puts a climate change denier in the job.
Well, we're going to have to see.
We'll be right back. So, I did this line of Christmas sweaters, so we finally launched them yesterday at Lord & Taylor in Manhattan. They're a lot of fun. So, they're about, I think, $139 or something. They're really nice.
Light up. I had a lit Christmas tree. I got more phone calls about that sweater. I had friends and family I hadn't heard from in years saying, where'd you get that sweater? Can I get one of those for Christmas?
Well,
so I pulled
mine jingled. There were amazing feathers.
They're cute. They're sweet. So go and buy one if you're in the mood. That's all. When Hillary Clinton gave her concession speech, she became the first candidate in modern history to utter the words, "I'm sorry." Did you know that? Her full quote was, "I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country." Now, does that surprise you that no other candidate has ever said, I'm sorry?
No, I never heard that before.
I never thought of it, so that was a little shocking that that was a stat. But I did find a study that is kind of funny. A 2010 study published in an issue of Psychological Science found, because now let us all remember, Hillary was the first leading party female, so the rest had to have been males. When men do think they've done something wrong, they apologize as much as women. It's just that men don't think they've done much wrong.
Well, that makes...
The first part had me hopeful, and it was the second.
What did I do? What did I do? What are you talking about? What did I do?
Yeah.
If I understood, then I would apologize.
I didn't leave that there.
Well, they go, fine, I'm sorry, but they don't know why they're saying it.
Yeah.
I think women apologize in life. If you take this away from politics into life, I find that women that I know are much more, you know, they have a willingness to apologize more than men. I think we apologize too much sometimes. We apologize when we haven't done anything wrong. We apologize when someone else is uncomfortable,
Stop
even if we
saying we.
haven't. No, I think I say
Stop
we.
saying we.
No, I say we because I am part of the problem. I do that.
Why?
Because I was raised, I went to Catholic school growing up. I think I was raised to be a little too polite sometimes. And I'm so polite that if you're uncomfortable, even if I haven't done something wrong, sometimes my instinct is to say, I'm sorry, as if it was my fault. And that's a weakness I have, and I think it's a weakness that other women sometimes feel compelled to make somebody else comfortable, even if you didn't do anything wrong.
It must be, I don't have that either.
You don't have that?
Wait, the flip side of that,
I don't have that.
the flip side, though, in communication with people in intimate relationships, family and otherwise, it is such a strength to be able to say, I see what you're saying, I'm sorry. And I think that
Well, when you're really wrong, you should.
Yeah.
But to just go around saying, I'm sorry, because, you know, you're just...
No, but you know,
Comedians have
we're
done
raised
this
to
on
say
that,
that.
though.
Well,
yeah.
I think Amy Schumer did one. Comedians have come out with exactly what I'm saying, where you have these montages
Clearly
of
they
women
have the same
saying,
issues.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
We don't have those issues.
I did it on the subway this morning. There was a guy, and I've been trying to listen when I say I'm sorry, because someone pointed out, when you bump into someone, are you sorry?
Well,
or
then
it's
you
just
should say,
excuse me, or some other thing. So I've been more alert to my, you know, type of thing. I'm in the subway today, I stepped on this gentleman's foot, and I was like, I'm sorry. And then I bumped him, and I go, I'm sorry. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for saying sorry. And I thought, oh gosh, sir, you're saying this out loud. And the guy's like looking at me like, it's like,
you know what
the
it is?
point.
I think a lot of it, this is going to sound maybe crazy, but as you're talking, this is what it made me think of. Maybe it's because when Joy and I were little kids, there were very specific things you had to do. If you bumped into someone, it was excuse me. You know, it wasn't I'm sorry, it was excuse me. If you did something or you asked how are you, or you said good morning, you know, it was manners. And I think because we've lost a lot of how we do things with manners, people don't know what to do. They don't know to say excuse me.
Yeah.
So they just apologize and figure that'll take care of it. But I wonder if that's what it is.
It's like a
'cause
default.
Yes, please and thank you was we had to do it.
In Italy, they say mi scusi, which means excuse me. They don't say I'm sorry in Italian. They say
no.
I'm going
And
to
in
start saying mi
Spanish,
scusi on the subway.
Yeah,
And
it sounds like baby talk, doesn't it?
And just
Mi
a quick
scusi.
point,
Yes.
a quick point about politicians. How refreshing, you know, I've had my issues with Hillary Clinton, but how refreshing to see a politician come out and say, I'm sorry, and have that kind of humility.
Well, you think
I've called for Donald Trump to say, I'm sorry.
You think he will?
But it took a female politician.
I will let my hair go gray, okay?
He should, though.
He apologizes
Well, let
for
her set
anything
the
he said.
example.
Scusi.
Scusi.
Ciao, Bella. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Sarah.
I got something for you.
You got
the holiday season comes. Oops, no, that's not what we're doing right now. The People's Choice Awards has nominated The View for favorite daytime TV hosting team. So go to our website to find out how to cast your vote. And one reason that you should is at the end of this, Whoopi could be a PGOT. Do you know what? People's Choice, Emmy Grant. Wait.
Should I tell you? I have a couple of People's Choice Awards. They're yeah.
You're already a PGOT.
I am a PGOT.
She's a PGOT.
But you know what?
Well, wait
It's
a
the
second.
road to you all becoming PGOTs as well.
I'd be just a P for a long time.
Well, I'm already a Pemmy.
You're
a
I'm a
Pemmy?
Pemmy.
Yes.
Wow.
What are you?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No, I'm not yet. If I won this award, I'd be a Pemmy.
Oh, well, okay.
Well,
she
then you
needs
have
a,
to
she, she needs to be a Pemmy. You know something that I forgot that sort of came up in conversation? It's a little different than what I thought we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
What is happening over at Fox with Megyn Kelly?
Oh, she's coming on
She's
tomorrow.
coming on tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And she's having a little bit of beef with
O'Reilly. They're having an argument.
She's not representing Fox well.
Yeah,
Tell it.
It looks like he did a few interviews and he's coming out and saying that she's not, almost making it sound like it's her job to defend the network at all costs. That she should be out there defending the network and protecting the network. And she's out there saying, hold on a second, I was sexually harassed. It's my job to expose what went on so that women everywhere know that if they're subject to a situation like that, they are inspired to speak out and not to protect an institution that isn't taking care of them. So it looks like there's internal beef. I know O'Reilly did a segment on his show where he kind of, people feel that he kind of went after her. So it remains to be seen what's going on inside. But from where I'm standing, I'm glad she spoke up. I mean, she's making these allegations.
The two lead people at
pretty
Fox.
much.
Those
Well,
are
there's Sean Hannity as well, who's stayed out of it. But
So he would rather that she squelch the truth.
That's what it sounds
than
like.
speak the truth.
I think he's saying it's your job to be out there
It's not such a shock coming from
basically
him.
feeling like Fox News has become a piñata in this whole thing. And what she's saying is that's not because of me, that's because of Roger.
Right.
That's because of actions that he did that now women are coming out speaking against. That's not because I'm exposing my experience, which was hurtful and painful, to help women get through that. That's his fault.
Let me ask you a distasteful question.
Sure.
What made it take so long, do you think? Why did she? Because one of the things that I think people do question is to say, well, if this was happening to you, why did you wait so long to expose it? What was the cross the line point?
Well, she wants to keep her job, basically, is what the problem is. Here he is, he's the boss. He's the boss.
Yep.
She makes a lot of money, Even if she doesn't make a lot of money, you want to keep your job. You work at McDonald's, you want to keep your job when the guy is harassing you. That's what the bottom line is.
But then what is that message sending? What's the line? Where is the line in the sand?
It's a moral,
to me, it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because I understand people want to keep their jobs, but then do you weaken your point by staying someplace, 20 years, and then saying, well, this has been happening for 20 years, but I stayed and I made my money and I did this and that.
Well, I wonder if it'd get as much press, though, if she weren't. I wonder if people aren't as high as they are, if you just get swept under the rug, pushed out, and
I think people are saying, though, they complained internally. You go to HR, you do what you can, but it's very
works for the network.
Yeah, you can't go to HR because they don't work for you.
I can say this was not my experience with Roger, but I understand.
It's not supposed to be like that. But
I understand. This wasn't my experience with him, but I do understand why, if it had been, it would have been scary for me because there's a PR team. Roger was the king there, and if you go against him, I do understand why someone would feel like if I don't have some backup, where am I going to be left at the end of this?
The way we understand, he was a serial harasser. So
those are the allegations.
There's safety in not safety, but there's power in numbers.
Look, if someone
when that's happening to women, it's probably happening to another and another.
The way I feel about it, if you're gutsy enough to speak out whenever that is, more power to you, because this needs to be broken down. Whenever that is.
I gotta take something to be continued. Here, let's try this again. The holiday season comes with a ton of paperwork, gift lists, recipes, thank you cards. So Bamboo Slate is your life hack for the holidays. It's a smart pad that lets you write naturally with pen on any paper, and with the push of a button, convert your handwritten notes into living digital files that you can edit on your smartphone or laptop. It's great as a gift or to treat yourself. And great news, thanks to Bamboo, members of our audience are going home with their own Bamboo Slate.
And naturally, you were finishing your point. You were making your point before we had to shut you all down. Did you make?
Well, she was saying that she feels women should stand up.
I think. Look, these are allegations,
can I say something about that, about women standing up? I've been in a position where I was a single parent without a dime.
Hold on.
Okay, you don't stand up so easily when you're in that position.
We're coming right back. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, and Miranda here. Yeah, let's talk some ladies of the View.
is the Tony-winning genius behind In the Heights and, of course, Hamilton, which people would gladly give a kidney to get to go see. And now he's bringing his incredible talent to the new Disney movie, Moana. Take a listen to his song, We Know the Way. And then please welcome Lin-Manuel Miranda. So, hey, Tony winner.
Hey, likewise.
Last time you were here was in 2008 with the cast of your first Broadway smash hit, In the Heights.
That's right.
There you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, he's a baby.
I know, yes, he's a baby.
Yeah. No, y'all made me work last time I was here. I got
Well,
to sit
you
here and drink
know,
water.
I tell you. But now Hamilton is the hottest show on Broadway, and next year it's about to kick off the national tour. Are you going to play around in it at all? And you know I auditioned for the national tour, so I'm expecting to hear from you if I
Yes,
got
we
in.
have your headshot and resume.
Okay, good.
Yes, we have your head.
So are you going to step in different places?
Well, there's no plans for that yet.
Okay.
That being said, every time I watch the show, I just sit there going, oh, man, especially with our incredible company in Chicago right now. We have some Heights alums in that.
Yeah.
Josh Henry, who you just saw dancing behind me, is playing Burr. Karen Olivo is playing Angelica over there. So, you know, I want to get up and play with my friends. So I might sneak in on a matinee or something. But yeah, I mean, that's the plan.
Well,
they're incredible.
You had a ton of celebrities come to see Hamilton, from President Obama to Jennifer Lopez. Equally impressive. I'm just kidding. But who was one of your favorites to come backstage afterwards?
Trebek was a big one.
Alex Trebek?
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
Is it Alex?
No, Joe Trebek is No, Alex Trebek was incredible because it's very rare when you meet someone, they are exactly the way you experience them on television. And, you know, Alex Trebek came backstage, and I swear he said to me, he goes, "The answer, the hottest show on Broadway." Opening sentence. And then he says, "What is Hamilton?" I went, "That's what you do on TV." And you're doing the thing right in front of me. Which was like so surreal.
You've done a couple, didn't you do?
Yeah, I went and I did some daily doubles. I was like the video Clue, which was really fun.
Now, you co-wrote the score for the new Disney movie Moana, which is about a girl who goes on a quest across the sea with a shape-shifting character played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I have to ask you what it was like to write music for The Rock.
Easy. Yeah, it's the best. Well, one, The Rock can sing, y'all, which is kind of amazing, and you'll see when you see the movie. Oh, yeah, there's us recording the tune. But also, he's just endlessly charming. I imagine it's what Howard Ashman and Alan Menken felt when they were writing for Robin Williams, which is like, oh, this guy can sort of say anything, and you go, and get away with it, you know. So he's got this great song, and the song's called "You're Welcome," and it's "You're welcome for existing. You're welcome for making your life better by virtue of my presence." And anyone else, you're like, "Oh, what a jerk." But once The Rock, you're like, "Thank you, thank you. You are the man." So it's just, you know, he's so charming that he can kind of do anything. It's pretty incredible.
And you're a Disney baby too, right? You're a big Disney baby.
Yeah, like, I saw Little Mermaid in the theaters when I was 9 or 10, and Under the Sea started, I just like, my hair like went backwards. It was, so I, you know, and it's no accident my son's name is Sebastian. So yeah, no, I'm a big, so to be working with the directors of that film, of Little Mermaid, on Moana, was also a dream come true.
Now, you say that you knew your wife Vanessa when you were in high school, but you weren't cool enough for her back then.
She was way out of my league in high school.
So what happened?
You got a Tony?
No, it's prior to that. Yeah, no, actually, when Vanessa and I re-met as adults, I was oh my God. That's me directing West Side Story in high school. I didn't realize This Is Your Life would be playing in the background. But no, when we met as adults, I was basically a broke substitute teacher. But I was performing in this hip-hop group called Freestyle Love Supreme, where we just improvise hip-hop songs. And so she was like, oh, that guy's smart. And we started dating. She didn't even realize I was hitting on her. That's how smooth my game is. She had no idea it was even happening. I'll never forget Chris Jackson, who you know well, who plays George Washington in our show. He was in the show with me, and she invited me out for ice cream with her friends. And this is like real how locker room talk is, not that other thing. This is real locker room talk. I said, I think I'm going to go out for ice cream with Vanessa, and he looked at her and said, you're not ready for that. And I said to him, ready or not, I'm going to get ice cream. Because, it's so, and that, that was the date that sort of turned into, a 6-year marriage and a son. And,
well, and I'm not sure if she had seen a video that we've recently unearthed.
Oh, dear.
You spoke about spending some time alone as a child and maybe listening to the Footloose soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Roll that tape.
The booty shot was pretty great. The booty shot was great.
Yeah. I don't know if you still can pull those moves out, but I was wondering if maybe we could do a little dance.
They say dance like no one's watching. Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to here. Mohana is in theaters November 23rd, and we, of course, will be right back.
Everybody cut, everybody cut. Everybody cut, everybody cut. Everybody.
Have a great day, everyone, and take a little time to enjoy the view.